Welcome to this explainer. Look, right now it feels like literally everyone is talking about AI, automation algorithms, and the absolute latest marketing tools. It's totally overwhelming, right? We're stuck in this constant, just exhausting cycle of chasing the newest software updates and platforms. But what if the fix to modern marketing isn't actually found in the future? What if it's found in the past? Today, we're going to break down why modern marketing is fundamentally broken and how, surprisingly, timeless ancient wisdom is exactly what fixes it. So I've got to ask you to be really honest with yourself for a second. Are you treating AI as a strategy or is it just a tool? Because this is easily the single biggest mistake being made out there today. When you prioritize fast execution over deep strategy and you expect the tool to just do the thinking for you, you end up churning out massive amounts of content that completely lacks any differentiation. You inevitably just drown in a vast sea of identical, mediocre content. And that brings us to a massive paradigm shift. Technology changes. Human decision-making doesn't. Software evolves every few months, honestly, sometimes every few weeks. But human psychology? That has remained remarkably consistent, like virtually identical, for thousands of years. Understanding human behavior actually matters so much more than understanding the latest software update. Okay, let's jump right into section 1, the modern trap, accelerating mediocrity. When we lean on AI without a really solid psychological foundation, this dangerous misconception happens. We mistakenly think AI creates persuasion. We expect it to invent these brilliant persuasive marketing angles out of thin air, but what AI actually does is simply amplify your given strategy. It literally just acts as a magnifying glass. So if your underlying strategy is weak, AI just scales that weak marketing with, frankly, dangerous efficiency. This is exactly why most AI-generated content sounds exactly the same. Everyone is just using similar prompts and mistaking speed for actual effectiveness. Moving right along to section 2, the Aristotle advantage, the original conversion formula. To actually escape that modern trap, we need to time travel back to ancient Greece. And what's truly wild is how perfectly a 2 millennia-old concept maps onto modern digital marketing. Long before algorithms were a thing, Aristotle discovered 3 pillars of persuasion that naturally trigger human decision-making. First up is ethos. This is your authority, your credibility, your expertise. It's the core reason why people trust you. Second is pathos. This triggers emotion through storytelling. It taps into those deep human desires, aspirations, or even fears. And third is logos, the logic, the facts, the data, the hard evidence. Every single piece of successful marketing today relies completely on these 3 pillars. Let's make this super practical right now. Think about how injecting Aristotle instantly transforms a terrible AI prompt into a highly persuasive one. A bad prompt is simply asking the AI to write me a Facebook ad. That's exactly how you get generic garbage. But a winning prompt, you tell it to write a Facebook ad using ethos to establish authority, pathos to create emotional desire, and logos to provide proof. Just like that, your AI becomes incredibly persuasive because you actually gave it a brilliant psychological strategy to amplify. All right, section 3, the Sun Tzu strategy, winning before the battle begins. So pivoting from direct response tactics to broader brand positioning, Sun Tzu famously taught that every battle is won before it is ever fought. Now, how does an ancient military quote perfectly translate to modern marketing? Well, it means your primary goal is to build trust and authority before a prospect ever starts comparing you to your competitors. The absolute best brands out there, they don't compete harder, they position themselves early so they don't even have to compete at all. Which leads us to a pretty vital question we have to ask today. How does this apply to modern AI search? When someone goes to an AI assistant like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, or Claude and asks for recommendations, what's actually happening behind the scenes? The answer lies in the ancient principles that AI recommendation systems are constantly rewarding. Think about the traits AI looks for. It surfaces brands with authority, trust, reputation, consistency, social proof, and narrative strength. Regardless of who the digital gatekeeper happens to be, the AI is always going to recommend the brands that have already won the human trust game based on these timeless traits. So to sum up the Sun Tzu lesson here, algorithms are constantly changing. The reasons humans trust and choose brands are not. If you position yourself as the obvious, trusted, and authoritative choice in the minds of humans, you completely bypass the need to endlessly try and game the algorithm. You literally win the battle before the search even happens. Let's tie this all together in section 4, the hybrid blueprint, ancient wisdom plus AI. Here's a highly practical 5-step framework for you. You always start with psychology, which directly informs your positioning. From there, you apply those ancient frameworks. You'll realize that human psychology forms the unshakable base of the entire process, while AI is purely used for scale near the very end, leading right into how you measure. Let's break these down a bit more. In steps 1 and 2, your whole focus is mapping human motivation. Before you ever click open a software tool, you have to deeply understand your customers' desires, their fears, and their frustrations. Then you clearly define your positioning. Why exactly should customers, and consequently AI algorithms, choose you over anyone else out there? Then we hit steps 3 and 4. This is where you bring in those ancient frameworks like ethos, pathos, and logos. These concepts literally become your precise prompt strategy. Once that foundational strategy is locked in, then you let the AI do the heavy lifting of rapid content generation, deep research, and personalization. The AI scales your work, but the ancient wisdom is what steers the ship. So, the absolutely crucial point is how you measure all this in step 5. There's a stark difference in what you could be tracking. Most businesses completely obsess over vanity metrics, simple impressions and cheap clicks. But if you actually want to survive the AI age, you have to measure true human response. Are you building trust? Are you seeing real engagement, solid conversion, and long-term retention? Because honestly, that's what truly matters. Which brings us to our ultimate mic drop realization. AI is not the strategy. Human psychology is. The marketers and business owners who are going to thrive over the next decade, they won't be the ones who just memorize the most tools. They're going to be the ones who combine ancient wisdom with modern technology, using AI as a massive force multiplier rather than a replacement for real human strategic thinking. So I want to end this explainer with a provocative question for you, one that I hope sticks with you. What will you build with this ancient wisdom? The tools at our disposal have literally never been faster or more powerful, but the human mind, it remains exactly the same. I challenge you to start applying these timeless frameworks today. Master the psychology behind the tools, and you are going to build a strategy that survives absolutely every algorithm change to come. Thanks for learning with me today.